Hello and welcome back to MR30 to L4. So first thing I'd like to say is thank you. Thank you a lot. I honestly did not expect the video to perform as well as it did at all. 10k views at the time that I'm writing this and recording it is just insane to me. I didn't think I would get anything like this as of right now. And to anyone and everyone who watched, commented, etc., thank you. Now, there's a bunch of comments I'd like to mention, but I'll get to that later when they're relevant to the video. So, with the pleasantries out of the way, let's get back to grinding. Prodia was a bitch and a half to obtain. When Goss released, I got him first day because I was very lucky. This time around, I wasn't. The fastest way that I know how to get relics would be doing the missions Hepit, Uko, and Apollo for Lith, Meso, Neo, and Axii relics respectively. Hepit and Uko you can complete in under 1 minute, minus the loading in and out of the mission, mainly because I was using a speed frame, like Goss, Loki, Titania, Volt, etc. Lua Disruption, on the other hand, is consistent after the third wave and takes about 3 to 4 minutes per reward depending on spawns of the demo list. So with all that consistency, what did I get? Starting off farming for Lith P9s, I got 6 C11s, 5 R5s, 4 G10s, 4 T12s, 4 P9s, 3 A6s, 3 P9s, 1 Aya, and one of the capture missions turned into an elimination, which also counts as +5. Since at this point I don't have any of the new Prime items, the T12 won't be counted towards exercise. At the moment, since I need to farm T12s and it's just a byproduct. Farming for Meso W4s and Neo P6s for Protea Prime's Blueprint and Dire Optics, I got 6 W5s, 4 V9s, 4 Aya, 3 H5s, 3 W4s, 3 G7s, 2 G6s, and 2 B9s. For Neo Relics, I obtained 5 Z10s, 4 A12s, 4 O2s, 4 P6s, 3 M5s, 2 S18s, and 2 A11s, with 4 of the capture missions turning to exterminations, so +20. For Axii Relics, I obtained 5 A17s, 4 A18s, 4 G11s, 4 F2s, 4 B8s, 3 P7s, and 2 L6s. Whew. We're not done, that's obtaining them. What about opening them? And my opening method is, once I get 2 to 3 of the relic I need / I'm going for, I will stop farming and open all of the relics. So that means I also opened V9s and O2s, etc., which I will cover what I got out of them when I get to the weapon. Opening the P9, I got Hilden Prime systems and then the Prodia Prime systems. Lucky, I know. Opening the W4, I got 1 Forma, 2 Lex receivers, 2 Aethirus barrels, 1 Protea Prime blueprint. Opening P6, I got Gunson Prime blueprint. Someone else also opened up a P6 at the same time and got a Neuroptics for Protea. So I chose that, but since I didn't open it, that is a +10 on exercises. Finally, with opening the P7, I got 1 Tatsu blueprint, 1 Forma, 2 Fang blades, 1 Baruch system, and 1 Protea chassis. All of this resulting in 445 reps of whatever exercise. Yippee! Protea's farm, for a tier list sort of perspective, is gonna be around C or B for me, because it wasn't as quick as Goss, but I was very lucky with Goss. I was lucky with her rare part, but I was unlucky getting the relics. So it kind of equals out to be middle of the road C. Now, how is she? It's Protea. She's good. Her 1 is a good bleed procer, does a lot of damage, and is a shield generator. Her turrets slap very hard. Her 3 gives you everything you ever want, and her 4, you basically just subsume it. You do not need Temporal Anger at all for anything. You either put something like Roar or Eclipse on because you don't need Nourish in order to regen your energy. And her passive just makes everything she has so much better. I don't think there's a problem with surviving on her because shield gating is a thing. I don't think there's anything else that's really wrong about her except for her ult. She's a very solid frame. I'd farm her. A solid S tier for this tier list. And here's my build so you know what I was rolling with, and if you can tell me if it was, well, shit or not. Okay, hi, hello. I'm sitting here re-recording this for the build because I recorded all my footage in CQP and it was very, very fucking annoying to edit with. And if you've ever edited before and you've edited CQP footage, well, you'll understand what I mean by that. Anyway, regardless, the point of my build was to go with as much strength and duration as much as possible. Since I run Zen Ruick, I don't really care about efficiency, and I sort of care about range when I was using some of her abilities, like her 1, and that's kind of it. Her 2 really didn't matter in range, it kind of just killed things in front of it, and since it lasts a short time, it's fine. Or to shut the fuck up. Since I didn't have Roar or Eclipse, I just put Pillage on her because their 1 gives me shields, and then I can use that a bunch with this, and yada yada yada. I'm gonna re-record a lot of things and just re-level her, so I'll put she's a special case, she's gonna get a Forma. Anyway, yeah, moving on. Okay, so last video, I had a lot of people talking to me about the Aelak build, so I understand, and I get that. The problem is, I don't have a lot of resources, you know, unless a lot of you want to, you know, fund my resources, aka can you buy me a lot of Orokin Catalysts, and then a lot of Forma, and then I can do a lot of the things, but you know, you know, only please. I'm kidding. Don't do that. You don't have to. I'm not forcing you in any way, shape, or form. Do what you want with your own platinum. But I don't have enough resources to make everything that I get Steel Path viable. I currently am sitting on like 7 catalysts, which would be for the next 5 weapons. But even then, I only have like 10 Forma as well. So I wouldn't be able to make the perfect build for every gun, and that's also not the point. The point is to get the gun and to see how good it is for potentially being something you would want to build. That's kind of what I'm going for. That's also why for the comments, you guys can put your build and such. If you think the Aelak is better than what I said, then boom, there you go. Put that in the comment and I'll read it. And I did. So, I say this later as well, but right now, the Aelak is going to go up a tier. That's a lot of you say it has very good potential, and honestly, I believe you. So, with that out of the way and that being said, we can move on to talking about the Gotva. First, let's give you all a information break, because there's going to be even more relic opening later, because I also sure as shit need one, because I'm making the video and I lived through the farm. So next alphabetically is the Gotva Prime, which is the easiest and most annoying Prime to get. The Gotva is a Baro Katir purchasable. For those who don't know who Baro Katir is, he goes to a relay every 2 weekends. His purchasable items are random, I believe, based off of this line from the wiki. However, during TennoCon, his entire inventory is available, so right off the bat, it'll be on the depends tier, because 1 week he may have it and you may miss that week, then it doesn't show up for another 3 months. Or it's TennoCon and he can nab it just fine, or he has it the next time he comes around, so it highly depends. As for performance, on the other hand, it's pretty damn good. The Gotva Prime is actually very good. It has an intrinsic trait where applying a status effect has a 15% chance for the next shot to have a 300% increase in crit chance. This also applies to every multi-shot hit and punch through. Again, it's pretty good, and has a decent crit chance and status chance as well. I never really struggled using it against, well, corrupted enemies, so it's not really going to struggle there. It shoots pretty well, and I think you can have a lot of variety in builds with it based off of its crit and status chance being pretty decent. I see a lot of potential with this gun, and for that, it's going to go to probably A tier in performance, because this thing kind of can slap, I believe. And here's the build that I used and why.
Excellent armaments.
Shut the fuck. Okay, same thing with this, the Gotva. I already have a build on it. This is the build. I was just going for trying to increase the crit and the status a bunch with giving it corrosive so that it procs its unique trait. Other than that, it's going to get a Forma as well since I have to re-record footage. So again, pretty good weapon. Let's move on. The Okina Prime is a welcome addition to dual daggers since it's basically a forgotten weapon type. But it basically follows the same farm as Protea, but I changed it up a bit, so let's get started. Farming the Okina was different because my luck became horrid after a while. I did Uko for a while, and by a while, I mean a while, then stopped because I only got 1 Meso G7 after this list that I'm about to read off. I got 7 W4s, 7 B9s, 4 H5s, 4 V9s, 4 Aya, 3 G6s, 2 W5s, and 1 G7. And since Uko also drops Neos, I got 10 A11s, 7 P6s, 7 A12s, 6 S18s, 6 O2s, 5 M5s, and 2 Z10s. To me, this is ridiculous. Now for this go around, I'm counting the O2 even though they're for the blueprint here, because at this time I've specifically farmed for the Okina parts, I had already obtained it. Regardless, the lack of G7 from Uko was pissing me off. So I looked up other methods and found Olympus, a disruption node on Mars where Rotation C drops only Meso relics. So I did that, and the results weren't really that much better. I got 26 B9s, 19 V9s, 19 G6s, 17 W4s, 16 W5s, 16 H5s, and 15 G7s. I had done this both on and off stream. Doing it by myself was pain. Doing it on stream was pain. I don't really remember how long I actually spent doing it on stream. It was roughly around 2.5 to 3 hours, but it was mental. I didn't need to farm any Axie relics because I had obtained the Okina blades fairly early. So what did I get out of opening the relics? Opening the B8, I got 1 burst on blueprint, but a random got a blade, and then I got 1 Okina blade. For G7, I got 10 burst on stocks, 2 Goss systems, 2 Tatsu blades, 4 Cobra and Crane hilts, 1 Okina handle, 2 Wisp systems, and on the last Wisp system, my friend decided to help me out and farm 2 relics with me and got the handle on his first relic. For O2, I obtained 1 Goss chassis, 1 Fulman blueprint, 2 Exceltra receivers, 1 Zylock barrel, 1 Phantasma receiver, and 1 Okina blueprint. Pretty dog shit, I know, cause guess what? This resulted in 1,105 exercises of my choosing. And my fucking... I'm glad it performs well, because it's not bad. It's not a new weapon, but it is another dual dagger, which is always welcome because, again, it seems like a forgotten weapon type. It sports a high crit chance and high crit multiplier with a lot of attack speed as well. I only used 1 stance on the weapon, so I don't really know if any other stances are pretty good. I didn't have a fun time using the stance, but I had a fun time with its damage. It's not bad, I would go for it. I also think this has a lot of potential for a lot of melee builds, so I'm going to rate it high, and it's going to go into A tier for performance. Thankfully, the Velox was a lot nicer to me. Back to Uko, we got 8 W4s, 7 Aya, 6 B9s, 3 H5s, 3 V9s, 2 W5s, 1 G6, 1 G7. For Neos, we got 8 A12s, 5 A11s, 4 Z10s, 3 O2s, 3 M5s, and 2 S18s. For Axies, we got 3 F2s, 2 P7s, 2 G11s, 1 A17, 1 L6. Opening the F2s, we got 2 Revenant chassis, 1 Masseter handle, 1 Whisper Neuroptics, and 1 Velox blueprint. For the T12s, I got 1 Larkspur blueprint and 1 Velox receiver. For V9, I got 6 Baruch chassis, 1 Forma, 1 Aphurus link, 1 Fang blueprint, and 1 Velox barrel, resulting in 400 exercises of my choosing. So I had the same farming method for pretty much all of this. And I just have to say, DE, for the love of God, please open your ears and listen to my suggestion. For the first 2 weeks that a Prime is released, boost the relic drop chances for every mission that can drop a relic. Not the items in the relic, just so I'm not misconstrued, but obtaining the relic itself. Then after the 2 weeks are up, revert the drop chances back to the normal amount. Please. It is insane that I get 5 B9s before getting 1 G7, or replace that with X relic and the other X relic. First lucky at the moment. The insanity that it is not getting a singular G7 compared to all these other relics. I would be less angry if I got like different ones, not the same one. I think it would be amazing for people who farm it and can't buy it to have a better chance in the first 2 weeks than it becomes normal after them. But if you think this is bad for DE or not as fair to DE, or you have something better, put your suggestions in the comments below, because I'm open to talking about this. Regardless, how does the Velox perform? With the Velox, I didn't really have much of an issue, mainly because I was using it on Prodia, so the ammo efficiency was, well, extremely good. It's decent, however. It has a very high status chance and it allows you to proc things really fast. However, I don't think I'd use it over a Kuva new core. Well, to be fair, that is a Kuva new core. But I don't think I would use the Velox over a lot of things, especially like damaging secondaries or other proccing secondaries. So it's good, and it's a Prime. You can invest in it. So, B tier, no, A tier for performance. It's not that bad. And here's my build that I use for it. So here you go. With the Velox, I kind of just went with like a normal, here's increase in damage, here's some status chance increasers, and here's multi-shot because of a unique trait with Prodia, and just in general so I can get more status because I had a pretty good status, but not crit or crit multiplier. Anyway, boom, this is the build. It also gets a Forma. This gun, on the other hand, can suck my ass. The farming is an F tier, just right off the bat. I don't have to explain myself, but I will. Last episode, video, whatever you want to call it, I asked for thoughts on the pity system, and you all thought that if I farm for 24 hours and I don't get it, I can buy it. Thank God, because it's already being used. I spent 24 hours in Elite Sanctuary Onslaught trying to get this thing and never got the stock. 12, 11, 10, 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Braton Prime, Braton Vandal, fuck you, game. That's fucking, alright, well, that's it. That's all of it. 24 hours of, fuck you, you're Dynamite Operator. 24 hours of ESO later. However, I did get the blueprint twice, which is the same drop chance on the same rotation as the stock. So what are all the drops in ESO? The only ones we care about are 2 items in the B rotation and 2 items in the C rotation. In the B rotation, it is the Brighton Vandal barrel and the Brighton Vandal receiver, both with a 4.42% chance to drop. In the C rotation, however, it is the Brighton Vandal blueprint and the Brighton Vandal stock, both with a 2.01% chance to drop. And let's just put it this way. The C rotation is the worst of them all. There are so many other things with a 2.01% chance to drop, such as, to me, useless Radiant relics, such as Axie A17, 18, B8, F2, G11, L6, and P7. I don't need any of them, but I'm not saying they should be taken out. What I am saying is that Peculiar Bloom and Peculiar Growth shouldn't have the same drop chance as a Braton Vandal stock and a Leto Vandal barrel. I meant the Brighton Vandal blueprint, but it also applies to the Leto Vandal barrel. Regardless, I don't think those 2 mods should have the same drop chance as those 3 parts to weapons when they don't do anything effective. They're cool in Mimi, but guess what? They don't do anything compared to a weapon. What sucks even more is that this isn't a disruption, so I can't just keep getting C rotation rewards. This is the classic AABC, where A rewards go out of waves 2 and 4, B is 6 waves, and C is 8. I'm stuck in each wave for 2.5 minutes, so every 5 minutes I get a reward. So I'm stuck there for 20 minutes to see if I get the reward or not. So it's 3 drops per hour per C rotation. Obtained the barrel and receiver fairly early on, which of course will be in the list. It's also fairly boring to farm all of the set points, but it's not as infuriating as the relics. I'll explain my thoughts after everything, but regardless, I basically can only play 1 frame the entire time. Sarin. There are other options, but by far I believe she's the easiest and most efficient to get this done. So, equip Sarin, get your range and strength up, Bees and Ruik to keep your energy up, then clear the room to keep up your efficiency that drains faster and faster the higher the wave you're in. And rinse and repeat for the entire week. ESO is on a weekly tile set rotation, so what you have in the 8 waves you play on Monday, you will play on Saturday. But how fun / efficient / brain numbing it is depends on each of the tile sets. One week, waves 1 through 4 may be amazing and 5 through 8 sucks ass. Then another week, waves 2, 5, and 8 may be good while the rest suck. You get the point. But what makes them suck is the enemy type and map size. There's 3 different map sizes, small, medium, and large. Large sucks ass. The enemy spawns are way too far apart for spores to spread efficiently, making you have to actively play for 2.5 minutes, worrying about efficiency dropping. But I'm not saying actively playing is bad, just something as mundane as this and farming for a specific part, it gets very, very mundane and very boring. And it's also the worst offender on waves 6 through 8. Medium maps, however, can be good and bad depending on the location. If it's a Corpus medium one, they tend to be really good. If it's a Grenier one, with all the weird elevation BS, then it kinda sucks. Then there's small maps where you can infect someone and sit and do literally anything else with your time. Now, the enemy types for Sarin to me, from best to worst, goes as follows. Infestation, Corrupted, Grenier, Corpus. A large Corpus map is the worst, while a small Infestation map is the best. So finally, equip your Sarin with a butt ton of range and decent strength, and have fun if you want to farm it, but please, don't farm it. Just buy it from someone else for like 350 to 400 plat at the time of recording this. Now, what was everything that I obtained, and how is the weapon? In total, I got 7,950 Endo, 11 Neo A11s, 10 Neo K7s, 2 Neo S18s, 3 Neo F3s, 8 Neo K6s, 7 Neo W1s, 5 Neo A12s, 5 Neo P6s, and 3 Neo M5s, 5 Meso H5s, 4 Meso M4s, 3 Meso W3s, 5 Meso G6s, 2 Axie A17s, 1 Axie G11, 1 Axie B7, 1 Axie P6, 2 Axie L6s, 2 Axie A18s, 1 Axie B8, 1 Axie A18, 3 Braton Vandal barrels, 2 Braton Vandal blueprints, 1 Braton receiver, 4 synthetic Eidolon shards, which shouldn't be a reward by the way, 2 Leto Vandal barrels, and 1 question mark because I don't remember what I obtained, resulting in 470 exercises of my choosing. Let's talk about how the gun fucking sucks. It is the best Braton out of the 3 that we can get, but it's not better than the Braton Prime. But it's also not that great either. It sports a 16/16 crit and status chance with a single polarity at the beginning. It does pack more damage per bullet, but it still has a lot less of a DPS than the Braton Prime. It's not great, and it falls off pretty fast. Obviously, you can make any of these guns steel path viable, you know, like the Aelak. Or maybe the Alternox. Leveling with it was fine to a degree. It killed things pretty decently. But I say decently when it's like level 20 enemies and it kills in like 7 bullets, which, you know, I expect it to kill a lot faster than that, being as it's a more heavy hitting Braton with like decent mods on it. But you know, it only has 1 polarity, so I can't really fit a lot more things on it. Really kind of blows, if I'm being honest. I guess it could have good potential because, hey, it has an Incarnon, and Incarnons are broken, and it is the best Braton out of the 3. But why would you waste all those resources making this an Incarnon when you can make, I don't know, the Torrid an Incarnon? Or the Burston an Incarnon? Or the Strun? Fuck, make me Mark 1 Strun in Incarnon. I just don't like this gun. This gun's not really fun. Like, for potential, I guess, technically, and performance, it would be a D. I really just want to give it an F. I don't like this thing. I don't like farming it. I don't know why I spent 24 hours farming this thing. This thing blows. Oh, and here's the build. Okay, with this thing, there is no build. This thing has dog shit stats. I really didn't know what to do, so I just gave it multi-shot and duration with a little bit of, you know, anything else. Like, at all. Here we go. And that's the video. If you don't want to hear me talk any longer, you're free to leave. I'm not holding you hostage unless you want me to. But regardless, thank you for watching. I appreciate it a lot. And I know this video is not going to get 11,000 views again. I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting people who want to see this journey, and that's really cool. I'm still just surprised that it even got 11,000 views on the other video to begin with. That's just insane to me. I thank you all so much, and just thank you. I don't know what else to say. But hopefully I made this video a lot better. I hope I did better in certain aspects. I hope I did just overall better. I do have a couple questions, and I want to talk about some things. So again, basically, if you don't want to hear that, you can leave the video. It's already over. I'll see you in the next one when we get the Cinta, Bubonico, Carmine Penta, and 2 other weapons that I will put up in text. I can't remember at the moment. Oh, and I think the Warframe, because the update came out like 2 days ago, and I am recording this, and it's, you know, try not to take longer than a month to make a video. Challenge impossible. But regardless, when it comes to the builds, should I go more in depth? I asked this question last time, But I also don't know if I should or could, because I don't really have enough to do catalysts and a bunch of forma or a lot of time to do that, since I do a bunch of other things. So that's a question I have. But also at the same time, it's a question of, do I want to do more than what I'm doing? Like, for me, is this weapon shit off the bat, and would it entice you to build it further? That's kind of what I'm going with, which is why the Brighton Vandal's so low, but I mean, fuck, there could be someone who has a build that makes this thing insane. And that's kind of what the comments are for. If you guys have builds, put them in there. It's like, let's talk about them, see what's going on with the weapon. And that's kind of what happened with the ALAC, which is why I went up a tier. Speaking of tiers, I forgot to put the Okina and the Velox's tiers in the video, and it is the Okina is a C farm, I think, or a D farm, and the Velox is a C farm, because both of them sucked. Both of them really sucked. It took a lot of time to get both of them. And here's the updated images of the tier lists, so that I can also A, keep track of them, and B, for your viewing pleasure, because some people really love tier lists, and I am one of them. I'm also one of the people who loved tier lists before they became popular. It was like, I always looked at the Smash Bros. Melee wiki for that colored tier list sort of thing, and I loved it as a kid, and like when they started becoming popular, I was like, yeah, I already loved them. I guess another thing I want to talk about is the leveling. Some people in the last video commented about me using Hydron to level, which I don't disagree. You are objectively correct that Hydron is not the best leveling thing anymore, especially since ESO exists, and I think like one other thing exists. Problem is, I don't have fun in ESO anymore, just because of the Braton Vandal. Also, I don't want to go into ESO and like do 2 waves of not using the weapon or barely using the weapon just for it to go to level 30 instantly. I want to use the weapon itself. I want to use the weapon in the area for, well, footage, because it looks neat to me. And I want to use the weapon and be like, okay, I see how it's firing, I see its damage, maybe it has really good potential. But yeah, no, for leveling, you guys are objectively correct. ESO is better. But Hydron also lets me alt-tab and play like Marvel Strike Force or like Nikkei or like any other mobile game or any other game at the same time while other people are killing things and I'm getting XP, which I only do at level 15 and above. But yeah, regardless, I get it and I agree, but I just like playing Hydron because it's also just fun as well. I guess the last thing I want to touch upon is the exercising, which I saw like 2 people comment or 1 person comment about I should record myself doing it, which I kind of agree, so that you guys aren't, so I'm not just saying it and being like, yeah, this is the exercise I do, and then it's like there's no proof or anything of me doing it. So right after I'm done recording this, I'm gonna go do that, and it's gonna be sped up on the next part of the video, and yeah, woohoo. Oh my god, look at this beard, my goodness. Okay, anyway, this is the exercising part because, yeah, I had anticipated not doing this, but also I anticipated doing it and be like, hey, this is proof that I'm at least doing it. Also at the same time, I don't remember what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, alright, so I've done all 445 of the Protea Prime ones, but I've only done like 165 of the Velox ones, which means I still have 1,105 plus whatever the amount for the Brighton Vandal was. I think it was 405 or 445 of the Brighton Vandal fucking reps as well. I'm going clinically insane. Not really. It's just something I need to do, and not doing it every day kind of sucks. But also at the same time, I'm doing this to not die alone. But also, you see this face? You think I'm not dying alone? I'll be talking over myself on this bit of footage. So yeah, am I doing these push-ups correctly? I haven't seen myself do push-ups in so long, nor have I exercised in front of someone in any length of time. So it looks like I'm like not doing them correctly, I guess. Also, these squats make me look like a fucking dwarf. Like, dude. But yeah, this is just to be like, hey, I'm actually doing them. I'm not just saying, oh, this is the reps I gotta do. This is like me just trying to prove that I'm doing them. And well, yeah, then for the reason I said earlier. But regardless, I'll be done with this once I give the thumbs up to the camera after these 40 curls on my, I think it was my left or my right, I don't remember. But regardless, yeah, also I apologize for the microphone quality on the phone. It's a phone. I can't really do anything about that. So yeah. Woohoo! Also, the next couple videos are probably not going to be Warframe ones, but I'm still going to be on this journey, so don't think I'm not doing Warframe anymore. The next one's going to be a Blinks video, and it is going to be a Resident Evil video, or it might just be a Blinks video and then the next Warframe video. Regardless, the Warframe will be a little bit. And with all that being said, as always, criticize me. I want to improve, I want to get better, I want to know what I can do more of. Like, this is also why I ask questions. So, I'm not going to keep you here any longer. So, yeah. Like it if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it. And as always, thank you for watching, and take care of yourself.